What's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to why fast food has gotten so expensive. First, you're probably thinking, what the hell is this camera view? Which is fair enough, because this is a new setup and it won't last if people don't like it. But I was doing a reaction earlier and plenty of times before, and I always notice that basically when I'm doing reactions, I'll always move my camera around so I can show a part of the screen. And I just feel like if it's just like this, I won't have to worry about that. Obviously, you've got my fat face on the screen, and then you've got this area which you can see all of it, which obviously is good. But I don't know, maybe if you prefer just having the whole screen as this, and then my face being a small blob in the corner. So we're going to try this out. If you don't like it, I'll switch it back. But for now, we're going to just try this out. I did try it about probably like 3 years ago, but this is before I had my camera that I have now, which I think is probably a bit better. But yeah, we're going to see. But yeah, why fast food has gotten so expensive. I've definitely noticed this. I mean, I'm not someone who's like been buying my own fast food for a long time, right? Like I was living off my parents buying it probably like 6 years ago. And then before that, I was never buying it myself. But I feel like Big Macs, for example, would have been like £5, like let's just say 9 years ago. And now a Big Mac has got, like a Big Mac meal. A Big Mac meal's got to be now like £9? Maybe even more. I think it's around £9. I never get Big Macs. I always go for the quarter pounder meal. Quarter pounder is the #1 burger at McDonald's. Don't change my mind. I mean, I don't like Big Mac sauce either, so that's probably why. But I remember when I was younger, my brother used to always get it, and I think it was around £8-9. But I guess we're going to see the actual true inflation in this video. But let's check this out. Hopefully you find this interesting. Let me know your thoughts on this, and let's jump into this.
Big and tasty. For just $1, you did your thing, dog.
Remember the dollar menu?
Well, you may be hard pressed to
menu?
find any fast food item that actually costs $1 anymore.
$17.
What would cost $1? Or let's just say £1. $1 is like 70, 80p. Let's say 80p. What would cost, let's just say £1 in the UK? I can't think of anything. McFlurries used to be 99p and now they're like £2. And now they've made smaller McFlurries which are half the size that are now more expensive than how much the McFlurry used to be. When you really put it like that, they really are just rinsing your money, man. Obviously inflation's a thing, but come on now. McDonald's, you're making your money anyway. I'm just saying McDonald's as if that's the only fast food chain. It's all of them, but that's just the one that really that I have, to be honest. Burger King occasionally, but I never used to have it when I was younger. KFC, I can't remember the old prices of like bargain buckets and stuff. Anyways, we'll let this run.
For 3 filet of fishes at McDonald's? Are you kidding me? $15 for 3 filet. $17 for 3 filet of fishes at McDonald's? Are you kidding me?
I don't have the money to buy fast food anymore.
Would you just miss the days when fast food was actually cheap?
When looking at fast food menus nationally, here are the average prices for fries from McDonald's, a Happy Meal, and a burger combo from Burger King. But I paid even more than that. Here are the prices at fast food locations by the NBC offices in Midtown Manhattan.
Broadly speaking, sales are performing much stronger than foot traffic, and that's due in part to higher prices.
The Consumer Price Index measures inflation, or the average increase in prices over time. Fast food falls into the limited service meals category. Think anything that's typically ordered at a counter and taken to go. From 2019 to 2023, prices in this category are up nearly 28%. That's more than full-service meals. Think sit-down restaurants with servers, which increased.
From 4 years, they've increased that much. How? I mean, that's crazy. I thought this was going to be over like a 10-year period or even longer, not flipping 2019 to 2023, which is a period of around 2 years where people weren't necessarily able to work as much, or they were just losing money. And now I'm seeing that the prices have gone up. Like, they've literally gone up nearly 30%. Flipping hell, man. It's getting
nearly
brutal.
24%. And it's also more than overall inflation, which increased 19%. So why are fast food prices so high, and where will they go from here?
Can I please get a Titan turkey? Can I get a foot long? Yeah, just that.
Between 2022 and 2023, the cost of food, beverage, and packaging rose around 11% for both McDonald's and Chipotle. Still, as of late, labor is the main culprit.
Is about a third of the cost of the menu item, so even as those costs moderate, in many cases, and particularly given the laws that we're seeing in California and some of the other, minimum wage laws and just increases that are happening, is that wage pressure remains elevated.
The fast food labor market became increasingly competitive for employers during the pandemic as companies struggled to fill their restaurants. In 2022, the number of employees in the limited service restaurant category were still below 2019 levels. During that same time, the number of limited service establishments grew by over 4%.
As things normalized after COVID, you still see a higher amount of job openings and less people coming in to fill those jobs.
Compared to 2019, the percentage of sales that goes towards paying for labor has grown for many limited service restaurants like Wendy's and Shake Shack.
Oh, so I guess with the increase in wages needed to get people into these jobs, they then had to increase the prices stupid amounts. I mean, the wage increases, it doesn't show the increases, it just says labor cost as percentage of sales. So they're trying to keep it around the 32-33%. I mean, you look at Shake Shack, that's gone down. But even though the price has gone up, the labor costs have gone down. So that's not really an excuse there, is it?
Where it has actually decreased for restaurants like the Cheesecake Factory and Darden Restaurants, which owns chains like Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, and the Capitol Grill.
So what I'm assuming here is they're just trying to make as many profit. They're keeping their profits higher. They're keeping their profits higher. They're making their profits higher than they were initially. So yeah, they're just trying to make more money. It's not about just... Or they're trying to make more of a percentage of their money. It's not just about labour costs going up. So basically, I guess less people are working. They're obviously earning a little bit more, but then I guess the actual shifts are going to be made a lot harder because they've probably got less colleagues to work with and stuff like that.
In order to maintain the same service levels and expand their operating hours to accommodate the consumers' late night snack demands and demands for earlier breakfast, fast food restaurants need to hire more labor across the day part. And so as they're competing with other potential employers, they need to make the job more enticing. And the easiest way to do that is by raising the wage rate.
And companies are passing these costs on to the customer, especially as states like California have raised the minimum wage for workers.
And obviously, despite this huge wage inflation...
How much? California fast food workers are now making $20 an hour. Jesus. I mean, I guess the California life is not cheap. So like when you put it into perspective, it's probably not that good. But $20 an hour, I'm hearing that now, and I feel like people. When I was working at McDonald's, I was 16 to 17, and I would have earned. I think I earned like £6 something an hour, but I was at the lowest possible wage. I think people at that point who were over 18 or over 21 would have earned like £9 an hour, which is maybe like equivalent to like $12.
Despite this huge wage inflation, there's a lot of other factors at play. I think when you look at inflation within limited service, first of all, you're starting with a lower check average. And so any increase of $1 or $2 that an operator passes on, just by definition, has a higher percentage increase on it.
From December 2023 to February 2024, the national average for a quick service restaurant check was about $18, which is 4.5% more than the same time period last year. That's a higher percentage increase than both casual and fine dining. And full-service restaurants are capitalizing on the decreasing price gap.
How is this Chili's 3 for me only $10.99 when fast food is so expensive?
Could be because we don't have to pay for any mascots.
Please! I was born for this!
It has created a shift in fast food consumer behavior.
Perhaps before they were going there 10 times, but now they're still only spending $100, and maybe they're going there 8 times or 7 times, right? And so you start to see this traffic fall off because they're still spending essentially the same amount, but they're now going less frequently.
Who it affects? Everyone. Positively or negatively, everyone, but I'm going to assume this is negatively. I guess it just really the consumers, right? Because they're the ones who are going to have to pay more money for the same foods.
Although prices for fast food have soared, sales have remained strong. McDonald's, Wendy's, and Yum Brands, which owns KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell, have all seen revenue surge past pre-pandemic levels.
A lot of the sales are still going up. And a lot of that's driven by price as opposed to frequency or visits.
A lot of investors are now focused on who is best positioned to drive growth based on volume, because you can obviously only push your price higher for so long.
And that for so long may have arrived. McDonald's missed earnings estimates in the first quarter of 2024, and an Evercore analyst called it one of the most sobering quarters for the fast food giant. Others like KFC and Pizza Hut are experiencing the same consumer pullback.
We must be laser focused on affordability, which means good entry-level price points available every day. In the markets where we're doing this well, the business is outperforming. In some markets, however, it's clear we still have opportunities to strengthen our proposition.
100K plus income house.
Bro, he sounds like he's AI, man. He's creeping me out.
Our proposition.
100K plus income household are really powering through and still spending at kind of normalized levels. Where we see a lot of the constraint or perhaps behavioral changes is the 50K and below consumer. And so your lower end consumer who just doesn't have enough spending power to keep doing everything that they were doing when the economy had a lot of additional COVID stimulus available.
Makes sense.
Remember the $5 footlong at Subway? Well, that's a thing of the past.
I don't ever remember $5 Subways or £5 Subways. I guess would be our equivalent in the UK. I got one the other day and it was around, I think it was like £9, but like £8 something. But looking at that, the fact that there used to be a $5 Subway, that sounds to me right now, that sounds insane. And I know for a fact the $5 Subway wouldn't have been longer than, let's say, 15 years ago. And you can only imagine, in 15 years, has inflation gone up that much to the point where the Subway footlong price is sort of relative to its time? I don't think so. I think that is definitely like an inflation where it's a bit over the top. And that won't just be Subway, right? That'll be all. Which is, I guess, why the title of this is why fast food chains got so expensive.
This turkey sub cost me over $11.
11?
The bad news about
Jeez.
inflation is prices aren't going to go down. The good news is the increases are slowing.
Prices in general across the economy very rarely ever come down once they've been reset higher. One of the reasons for that is wages, once they're reset higher, very rarely get pushed back down and reset lower.
To combat the decrease in value offered by fast food, chains are relying on apps and loyalty programs. In its 2023 fourth quarter earnings call, Wendy's says that it plans to invest approximately $15 million, primarily in 2024, to further enhance its mobile app experience. McDonald's announced its goal to expand its loyalty program from 150 million to 250 million 90-day active users by 2027.
They haven't been able to do before is have targeted advertisements that go directly to consumers based on their consumption preferences. And the companies will be able to see almost in real time the return on investment of those advertisements and those promotions that they push to the consumer, because they can tell, I pushed them the promotion on Tuesday and they made a purchase on Wednesday or on Thursday.
The value offered by fast food is something that customers will continue to evaluate each time they make a purchase. And
what was that sound, man? My curtain's going crazy.
Something that customers will continue to evaluate each time they make a purchase. And it may ultimately determine how the industry reacts going forward.
Restaurants still take dollars to the bank, not consumer visits. And as long as they're able to continue to drive growth from a value or from a dollar perspective, I think, that's still good news for the industry.
I mean, they shouldn't increase as much as they are doing. Let's just be real. They're definitely taking the piss, especially in the world that we're in right now. That's just not even a conversation, but it's totally not corporate greed leading to record profits, says the corporate news conglomerate. Very good way to put it. I mean, yeah, they're probably just covering their asses, let's be real. Paying luxury prices for crap is laughable. That's a very funny way to put it, right? Who's seeing this food as luxury? You're seeing it as a quick, easy, cheap alternative, and it's not cheap anymore. That is how I think it used to be. It was a cheap, quick alternative. Now it's just a quick alternative. It's definitely not a cheap alternative. And that's just how it's it's been changing for the last maybe 10 or so years, maybe longer than that, to be fair. Meanwhile, the McDonald's ice cream machine is still. See this, I always hear the McDonald's ice cream machine, and I've seen I've done a reaction to this, like a video of why it's always broken, and about how it could be on purpose and all that sort of stuff because it actually makes the money. But from what I remember, or from what I experience, I always get my ice cream and my milkshakes. I think like there used to be a time where it was a bit worse, but in recent times it's definitely not been as bad as it used to be, and definitely, I guess, as bad as it seems to be in the US. But yeah, don't eat that crap. Your heart will thank you. I mean, I hadn't had McDonald's for about a month and a half, which for me is good, right? For me. And then we went out 2 nights ago, to try and catch the Northern Lights because we missed them the day before because I didn't know they were coming. And now I regret everything, right? Because they were beautiful, and what I saw, my friends' stories and Instagram pictures and stuff. I'm jealous, right? But we went out to try and see them. We didn't see them. We're out until 2 a.m. and we ordered McDonald's to the park because we just did. But it's not luxury food. It's just crap. And I mean, it's just basically food that you have to be easy and cheap. Not easy and cheap. Easy and quick. Not cheap. I take that back. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. Do you agree with this? Do you think the fast food companies are just taking the piss at this point? I mean, I can't really say I would think anyone would disagree with that because they definitely are taking the piss. But they've got to make their money, man. I guess that's how it's going to be. But let me know your thoughts on this. And until next time, let's subscribe and peace.